it's a story that you would have certainly read about on social media. A huge Twitter trend after a Tanishq ad, which promoted diversity in our country, interfaith marriage, but apparently was something which some felt was encouraging so-called love jihad. Tanishq, that's a Tata brand, had to pull down the ad. But video has now emerged, and we'll show you that video in a few moments of how individuals came into a Tanishq store in Gujarat and they told the workers over there, including the store manager, please apologize for this, have something pasted in terms of an apology, please make it viral so that people know. The advertising councils of India, various bodies have said that there is nothing wrong with the ad altogether. And I think the elephant in the room is this: the Tatas, one of India's largest groups, why are they not defending an advertisement which to the advertisers is not vulgar or wrong in any manner?
A so-called polite threat to apologize or else. At a Gujarat showroom of Tanishq, a popular jewelry brand, over an advertisement which featured the coming together of a Hindu-Muslim couple and their families. What's worse is the letter actually apologizes for putting out a secular advertisement and says that it was shameful and that we regret it for offending the sentiments of Hindus.
वो लोग आए थे और उन्होंने यहाँ पे गुजराती में अपॉलॉजी लगाने की मांग की थी, जो शॉप ओनर ने तात्कालिक पूरी कर दी थी, लेकिन उनको पूरे गुजरात में से या कच्छ एरिया में से कुछ थ्रेट कॉल्स आ रहे थे। तो यहाँ पे एक पेट्रोलिंग बंदोबस्त का हमने आयोजन किया है।
यहाँ पे राइट्स वगैरह जैसा कुछ नहीं है, बट बस कुछ थ्रेटनिंग कॉल्स थे, वो अब हो गए हैं। साहब ने हमको काफ़ी पेट्रोलिंग में सपोर्ट किया है।
A manager in Bengaluru was also trolled online on social media. Sources close to the company have told us that this manager has absolutely nothing to do with creating the ad or with forming the ad.
The Titan stock was down 0.52% on the Bombay Stock Exchange today.
So now being secular is something that a company has to apologize for, as well as being used as a political taunt for a chief minister. However, secularism is still in the preamble of the Indian Constitution, something every Indian still needs to stand up for. With Sakshi Bajaj in New Delhi, this is Purva Chitnis in Mumbai for NDTV.
Well, joining us now, Anant Rangaswamy, advertising commentator, Abhishek Tripathi, a filmmaker, writer, will join us in a moment, as also Prahlad Kakkar, the veteran ad filmmaker. Mr. Rangaswamy, various advertising councils in India have said there's nothing wrong or vulgar with this advertisement at all. But do you believe that this has set a precedent where fear and intimidation will mean that advertisers will think twice about what they actually project?
I certainly think so. And it is very, very disturbing. You know, there was once a time when you didn't have NDTV and you didn't have satellite television. All you had to do was get your script or your storyboard approved by Doordarshan, and then you shot the film. The client only asked you whether Doordarshan was okay with the storyboard. Later, when satellite television came in the early days, they used to ask whether the standards and practices department of the channel approved of the storyboard. And then you shot the film. And that was the end of it. You did not worry later whether the film crossed any boundaries. Today, you do check whether the film contravenes any of the guidelines of the Advertising Standards Council of India. If the storyboard does not contravene, you should be free to shoot the film, make the film, release the film, and have no fear whatsoever after that. This is frightening. If the creative directors of the country have to double guess what the reaction of any mob could be to their communication, how do they create anything?
Okay. Mr. Tripathi, Mr. Rangaswamy, do you also believe that this entire debate is being deflected from was there or was there not an attack on this Tanishq showroom in Gujarat? Yes, as it was developing news, it turned out there wasn't a physical attack, But yes, there was intimidation. Yes, there was a person inside that store. Yes, there was an instance when the store manager was told, please make something viral and apologize. Yes, he did stick something on his store. So do you believe that there is a deflection on that word, attack? Was that shop attacked or not? Is this not a larger attack on our values and freedom of speech, something we hold so basic in our country?
Vishnu, you're not going to like what I say next. What all these people love is the fact that television cameras will land up and make them famous. This is a place in Gandhidham. You ask most Indians, they want to be able to place it on a map. And yet we know Gandhidham exists today because of NDTV. We know the face of the perpetrator, whoever it was. He's become famous because the television cameras love images like this. It is going back to classical, dog bites, man bites dog is a better headline than dog bites man. These people should be ignored.
Okay, Mr. Rangaswamy, if you just hold on for one moment, we've got Abhishek Tripathi with us at this stage. Mr. Tripathi, do you not believe that the Tatas, the Tanishq group, needs to have done something more to defend this advertisement? Various advertising bodies have said there's nothing wrong with it, and yet love jihad is being bandied about, and the larger picture of how a message has been constrained seems to be lost.
I think it's very difficult to comment on something like this which has happened, but I sincerely believe that there isn't there isn't anything wrong in the ad for which it needs to be withdrawn. I think it's working. Like I said, there's not much to say, but right now I can only say I think the ad is working well, and it shouldn't have been withdrawn, and there shouldn't be any kind of apology, if at all there is any. That's it.
No, but Mr. Tripathi, do you therefore believe that when people go into this particular store in Gujarat, as they did, and they apparently asked, politely, impolitely, threatened, use whichever word you want, this store manager to apologize, paste it, apparently make it viral, that there is an atmosphere of fear and intimidation, which is exactly the last thing that creative people like filmmakers or ad professionals want?
No, I don't think there should be this kind of element should be allowed by any means, that who can decide to go and threaten somebody and can actually take this kind of a step. I think it is extremely unlawful and uncalled for. These kinds of things should be stopped at the earliest, and there should be a creative freedom to make any of these kinds of ads.
Prahlad Kakkar, how would you respond to those who look at it very differently? Who say
I can't hear you too well, Vishnu.
These are our values. These are our... So, Mr. Kakkar, what I'm asking you is this. How would you respond to those who actually say that, look, these are our values and we do feel offended, and that Twitter trend wasn't fake, it was absolutely real? When you're confronted by this perspective, how would you respond as an ad maker yourself?
No, it's not a question of ad maker. It's a question of a brand. It's a client call, and the call is that what does your brand stand for? Does your brand stand for togetherness and celebration in togetherness, or does your brand stand to allow people on pin you down on social media to actually allow you to then remove your ad from the thing? Now, that is one thing. The other thing is that you have to also look at it from two ways, which is the people who are actually anti the ad. Are they your consumers? They're not. So who can actually provide this information as to who are these guys who are actually on the social media, who are actually rabble-rousing? Don't you think that media, the job of media and for national media is to actually get to the bottom of this so that it actually protects the clients and consumers from special interest groups that might want to make it into an agenda? Yeah.
So, Mr. Rangaswamy, that brings me to my next question. do you believe the Tatas or Tanishq should actually have decided to back this particular ad? Number one, the reason I say so is because the ad quite clearly made a statement. It was a strong statement. A lot of people say that there is an atmosphere in this country which doesn't accept issues such as interfaith marriage now in a public platform in quite the same way. This was the Tatas actually calling for an acceptance of diversity, for an acceptance of what we are in India, for a return to beliefs which are at the heart of our constitution. So therefore, do you believe it was wrong for the Tatas to have backed out, pulled the ad and said, okay, fine, sorry, we've offended and we'll take the ad away? Was it morally wrong for them to have done this?
I'll answer that in two parts. One is, I think their statement, their press release was poorly worded. I think they should have stopped short of the apology. They should not have apologized, even if they wanted to withdraw the ad. The second thing is, my understanding.
Why would they want to withdraw the ad? Because
no, they are
afraid of goons, or are they afraid of their sales being hit? Because as you know, some of their stocks have taken a big hit.
No, that's wrong, and that's very misleading, because the whole market tanked today, and Titan watches was up for a large part of the morning. So that's a little misleading. But I'll tell you what, I understand that there were individual employees of Titan who were threatened, and that was a provocation to pull the ad. The ad was not pulled because they wanted to bend over to the threats. It was because they were concerned about the safety of some individuals in their stores and in their offices. So I think one has to go a little deeper before passing judgment on Tatas. I do think that their press release was very poorly crafted. That I do believe.
All right.
It made it sound like
Prahlad Kakkar.
Yes.
Sure, Prahlad Kakkar, last question to you. You have been associated with some of the strongest brands and some of the strongest ads.
True.
Do you believe that ad makers in this country now will think twice about actually putting out an ad? Just as filmmakers now in our country will think 10 times before they actually have a film along a certain line out, because otherwise somebody is going to go and make a threat, somebody is going to go and say make a public apology, or worse. So therefore, do ad makers in this country, ad filmmakers, face that same situation which, say, filmmakers have been facing now for the last few years?
They will, because see, the scripts don't come to the scripts are not made by ad filmmakers. The scripts are made by agencies and vetted by clients. Okay, so that is, as far as the campaign, the brand is concerned, that is its national value chain. What do you stand for as a brand? Now, if you stand for something, then you should stand with it. Because I personally feel that the trollers are not people who actually buy the brand. The people who actually buy the brand are not interested in trollers. And they're actually with the brand.
Yeah.
So if you were to know very clearly and take a census and a dipstick of who are the brand consumers, and therefore are they with the brand, you should just go back and put the ad back on.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to thank all of you very much for joining us. One of you, I think, said, what do we stand for? And I think that really is the key question. What is it that we do stand for? Do we stand for hate? Do we stand for no respect for views which may not be ours? Do we stand for diversity, or do we not stand for diversity? Do we stand for freedom of expression, or do we just like to target the messenger? What are we all about today in India? There's a lot to reflect on here. Time now for this short break.